Hello and good evening, everyone. My name is Jeff Olson, and we are here tonight. We've got a very special evening for you tonight. We're here to listen to, as we were just chatting seconds ago, some testosterone, really in a women's conversation, which is about health and nutrition, generally around the family. But I think you'll hear maybe through the lens of us guys how we've come to appreciate the value of, as I say, cramming more plant matter, more matter that matters into our body, both as consumers and as guys, sort of out on the pitch, out on the field of play, and how we appreciate the tool in the toolkit, but then also on the more entrepreneurial side, how it's impacted our family. And I call it sort of life, liberty, and enterprise and the pursuit on the business side. So if you've been invited here tonight, we want to thank you. We want to welcome you. This conversation is really for the new people to come into our community, meet a few of us. Time is the currency of life. We don't take that lightly. So thanks for sharing some of yours tonight. You've been invited here, because someone cared about you. Someone wanted to kind of give you a sneak peek and share, who we are, what we do, how we roll. And you'll hear some stories tonight from us guys. If you hear some of your story or someone you love, some of their story and our story, there's maybe some alignment for deeper conversation. Discover more. The invitation is, ask the questions and get your questions answered. And in the end, we have a pretty simple conversation to bring to bear out in the marketplace of ideas, grounded in some pretty simple basic principles. But sometimes it gets lost in translation as a simple story makes it out in the world. And so we really honor your time to come kind of discern and distinguish, what this is all about. It's kind of my belief that all possibility begins in a conversation. So here we are tonight. We're going to keep it casual, keep it simple. If I can look back on my life and look at all of the breakthroughs that I've had, in sport, in my marriage, in business, in whatever, it generally sort of trips up and begins with a change in some sort of belief that sets you on maybe a higher road, a better way. And that's maybe the narrative here is to sort of invite you to kind of pursue your higher ground. We've got tools in the toolkit around getting healthier and getting some cash flow and maybe finding some kind of work that's meaningful, both from an impact and income standpoint. But for those of you that are new, you've maybe heard of this healthier living revolution. We've got a freedom revolution. As I say, on the business side, we have an agency revolution. What's all that? Look, revolutionaries, if you kind of look at the definition of it, just kind of challenge the old order with a new order. And we've got some kind of, quote, disruptive innovation we bring to the table. And innovation, there's innovation that makes old things better. And there's innovation that makes old things obsolete. And I can speak for myself. This whole conversation has changed my life. You'll hear a little bit of my story. But it all begins with this intrigue, this attraction, this consumer sort of understanding. Yeah, that makes sense to me as a consumer. And then everything else sort of stacks on top of that. I was introduced to this conversation 18 years ago. I will back in the tail end of kind of the what conversation with my story. Then I'll introduce Ricky. Ricky will kind of hand it over to Tim. Then I'll come back in and we'll kind of shift gears and talk about the company behind the what that really delivers the how and the who. And Tim will lead off, Ricky will be in the middle, and then I'll wrap up and close. So thanks for your time. And, here we go. So plant powders is really kind of the basis of the whole conversation. The what, the innovation. I was introduced to plant powders 18 years ago. It's when Apple had launched their Think Different campaign. And I saw these little itty bitty plant powders in Juice Plus, the fruit powders, the vegetable powders, the berry powders. And it just made sense to me. I saw it as distinct and different. I saw it at using technology with food to try to get more matter that matters into people's body. I knew intellectually, gutturally, viscerally as an old athlete from the 20th century that this was important to me, and I didn't eat enough of it. So, wow, that was kind of interesting. Harvest the produce, juice the produce, dry the produce, crush the produce into powders. And that matter, I understood, long ago, that was the one thing I kind of got right out of the chute. Sometimes people kind of catch up to the fact that it's not a vitamin pill. It's not a replacement for fruits and vegetables. It's simply there as matter to support the dietary gap. But I knew as an athlete, that there was probably a conditioning effect to getting that matter in my body every day that would play out over time. As an old ex-athlete, an Olympian, a professional athlete, we got a guy who in the NFL 23 years. Ricky, you'll hear his story. Tim, who treats professional athletes. There's a compounding effect to doing fundamentals over time. And so the company, debuted in '93, with these fruit, vegetable, and berry powders. And they've stayed in their lane. They've tried to keep it simple. They've tried to be the best, for the world in their lane of plant powders and produce concentrates. And the form factor is very, very simple. You've got capsules that we deliver it into a soft chew. But the idea of plant powders, I believe, they're going to become standard of care in modern medicine. I believe that in the sports world, they're going to become part of the daily do. As Ricky, Tim, and I, and others try to help sports nutrition catch up to the 21st century around, physiological durability and improving the adaptive response and conditioning, recovery, and all that sort of stuff. The other plant powders that we have are just mixed up in a shake. I've been pounding these shakes for 18 years. I've been pounding these every day. I call them my hygienic health food. And in the world of business, if you can deliver a simple, daily solution to a problem that people have every day, which is getting enough fruits and vegetables, this hygienic health food just made sense to me straight away. It's safe, it's simple, it's got a food label, it's NSF Sports certified, which professional athletes really sort of glom onto, and that's important. What's that? That just speaks to the safety. These plant powders are used in Olympic and professional athletes, used in cancer patients, used in pregnant women, from your grandmother to your teenager to the greatest generation, the next generation. And the idea being that we all sort of live in this modern world, and we've created this challenge of getting enough every day. 9 servings if you're a man, 7 servings if you're a woman, double digit if you're an athlete. And even if you're in the game and a gamer of eating well, chances are that's a challenge to do that every day. And this is simply there to provide support. The company's been around 50 years. Juice Plus has been around 25 years. And like I said, I've been taking these plant powders for 18 years. So if you want to get more into the what, I would encourage you to do so. In the marketplace, this health food stands as the most clinically researched, peer-reviewed, scientifically published health food product in the world. That's the prove it part. But now you're going to hear some stories just from some guys that have been pounding this stuff for years. Like I said, I've been taking it 18 years. When I got on Juice Plus, the earth did not move for me. Okay? I was not able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. But I understood that this was kind of a first principle in eating well. If it come from the seed and came from the sun, it's probably pretty good for you, and this is plant matter, and I knew I didn't get enough of it. And look, if athletes are anything, they're ruthlessly practical. And I just kind of kept it there, keep it simple, stupid, and I was like, that makes sense. But after about 15, 16, 17 months, I began to notice an adaptive response, better recovery. When I was an athlete, I wanted to be a Porsche or Ferrari. Now at 52, I just want to be a truck, man. And I want to bang my body, get up every day, do it again. And so that's my story. I'm kind of sticking to it on just why I'm a consumer and a raving fan. As I said, it's my hygienic health food. I'll take it for the rest of my life. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Ricky, and he's going to share his experience with cramming more plant matter into his body with these plant powders. Ricky, take it away.
Thanks, Jeff. A lot of similarities with my story. I was introduced to Juice Plus a little over about 15 years ago, and I was in an NFL cafeteria is when I first, saw it, and really didn't really know exactly what it was. And ironically, the same time, Kelly was introduced to it from a good friend of mine back in St. Louis, and came home talking about, fruits and vegetables in a capsule form, whole food nutrition. And I said, wow, that bottle looks familiar. And it was the same bottle that I had witnessed in the cafeteria with the Carolina Panthers. And the more I learned about it, the more, I said, I need to take this stuff. And I think when I look back at my career, I always tried to eat healthy, especially as I got older. In my lower 30s to mid 30s, then you become ancient as an NFL football player, and you're now old. And so I was really conscious of what I ate, what I put in my body, because I knew I needed to fuel my body with the proper nutrients and antibiotics so I could recover and could perform at a high level. So I think at the end of my career, this was just something, man, I could take along with what I had at my fingertips. When you're in a college or NFL cafeteria, you got all the fruits and vegetables right at your fingertips, man. It's there 24/7. But as I left the game, I started a business, and I'm that guy that, has continued to stay in shape. And I run in half marathons. I train hard. I train with high school, collegiate, professional athletes, trying to help them reach their dreams. And I'm a guy on the move, man. When my feet hit the floor, I'm going. And for whatever reason, my whole life, I don't have a whole lot of time to sit down and eat. It's just not my personality, man. I'm going. And so Juice Plus made so much sense for me. Here's someone that's now out of the game, but continues to train, continues to work hard and to push my body to the limits. And man, it's just common sense, man. This is fruits and vegetables in a whole food, and I can take it where it's going to help me for my recovery. It's going to help me to my energy level. And like you, I think when I first started taking it, I didn't say, whoa, man, I can run faster. I can go longer. It was the period of time, I think 12 months, 24 months, 3 years to where, wow, man, when was the last time I got sick? Man, when was the last time I don't have, and obviously I wasn't playing on Sundays, but aches and pains and just felt different. And then it became, man, if I don't take it, I just felt like I had to take this stuff every day because it made me feel different. It made me feel better. And like I said, as athletes, we're practical, man. This is something that just makes too much sense. And, I love it. I love what it's done for me, my family. We all take it, and it's a lifestyle change. And I'll take it for the rest of my life, and I don't go a day without taking it. And it's made an amazing impact on me and my family, on just doing what we want to do day in and day out. And I think the biggest thing that I tell people, especially for young moms and dads, when you have young kids and raising kids, I think that's the biggest thing that I've really noticed is just being healthy, being able to perform each and every day. I run a business. I need to be there. I need to be available for my staff and my members. And I just don't get sick. My kids don't get sick. And as young moms, those kids come home with, all the germs and everything, and next thing you know, the whole family's sick. And I, that's one of the things that we really saw a huge change in our lives as a Proehl family. And it's just wonderful to be able to share that knowledge with people that we know. And it's something like you said, it's been life changing. It's something that I share with everyone I know because I believe in it because it's worked for us. Tim?
Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go along with this. First of all, thank you for letting me share. You're talking about sharing. I love to share about this. This has lit me up, and I'm honored to be in the company of these two athletic superstars. So thank you guys for letting me be a part of this. I'm going to kind of throw a curveball in here, and I'm going to say if you're on this call and you're skeptical, thank you for being here. I was skeptical too. When I started training some elite NFL guys, everything that I could recommend to them had to have good research behind it. So I was that guy that was skeptical. I was that guy that did the research. And I'm going to say, if you're skeptical, thank you for being on here, because if you do the research like I did, and whoever invited you to this call can help you with that. you're going to discover amazing things about this, both this product and this company too. So even though I've always been, athletic and pretty fit, all my life, I would always have a couple colds, a couple flus, something every year. And I didn't, I thought that was normal. Everybody kind of has that, don't they? So I didn't really think much about it. Well, then I learned about a way to just kind of flood my body with like 30 different concentrated plant powders every day. You're kidding me? My life is never going to be the same. And having been pretty healthy, I don't really have dramatic health stories of my own. I've got lots of great stories. I'm going to tell you about my mom really quickly. She 4 weeks ago fell, broke 3 ribs next to her spine. She's 85. That was 4 weeks ago. She's driving. She doesn't have any pain. She's recovering quickly. I've got stories of reduction or elimination of meds, diabetes, all of these things. And listen, Juice Plus does not claim to cure any diseases or do anything, but I have examples and stories in my own life that are very dramatic. I'm not going to share them here, but it's something that if you don't know about it, talk to the person who invited you to this call, because you're going to hear the same things that I have. What I have personally noticed, and it's interesting, you guys were kind of along the same lines, and mind you, it took at least 6 months. What I physically noticed was that I just didn't hurt anymore, especially in the mornings. And if you guys are of age, you know what I'm talking about. That's a really cool thing. To not hurt in the mornings, to not hurt anymore, that's kind of huge. And most of us, myself included, we look to what we feel or what we see changing to see if there's any dramatic change. But I got to tell you, what's going on the inside on a cellular level is huge. So it doesn't mean that we're not getting huge results if we're not feeling it. And the science can bear this out, and I'm not going to get into the science. Maybe Jeff can cover that a little bit. But the one thing for me is that in almost 6 years since I started eating these plant powders, I haven't been sick. Not one cold, not one flu, not one anything in 6 years. I mean, that is unheard of. So yeah, I'm on this for my life. I love sharing about this because of what it's done for me. But the cool thing is it's given me hope for a future of increase rather than decline. And I know if you guys are of age, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to turn it back over to Jeff.
That's great. We're living longer as a society, but health span's not quite equaling lifespan. The conversation, I just got back from California, sharing this conversation with a whole group of people at various cities around California. Human performance can be pregnancy. It can be better circulation for a diabetic. It can be more energy all day for mom and dad. It can be better recovery for an athlete. In the end, this idea of food conditioning of plant powders every day is a thing. And in the toolkit of vitality, in the toolkit of thriving, there's a few, best coach I ever had said, I got to come up with 1,000 different ways to tell you knuckleheads to master about 4 or 5 things. And that's eat well, think well, move well, sleep well, love well. And that eat well is, where we stumble, fumble, mumble, and are humbled and getting it done, right? Just the execution part. And this is there to just help that. So we're going to transition a little bit. We can kind of share more and more stories, and you'll hear more and more stories as you come into our community. We don't know how these plant powders will work for you, but between all of the stories over 18 years I've seen, plus the body of the prove it, the scientific efficacy, it's worthy food for thought for you to lean in and get your questions answered around the what. In terms of the how and the who, the company behind this idea, the Juice Plus company has been around 50 years. They're private. They have no debt. As we say, they're built to last, here to stay and built to last. And they're grounded in some very simple, basic things that are kind of first principles in business. They're focused. As I said, I really appreciated when I began to learn more about the company behind these plant powders is they weren't trying to be everything to everyone. They stayed in their lane. They're focused and trying to be the best for the world in the category of plant powders. They pioneered that category. And in terms of where they're headed and what they're up to, that doesn't mean, much unless you have kind of this whisper inside of you is say, hey, maybe, I'd like to learn more about this momentum behind this company and who are these people and what are they up to? I think one of the things coming in learning more about this business, the resume of the company really speaks for itself, and you can kind of get the stats. We're about to cross $1 billion a year in little itty bitty plant powders. If you think about that, $1 billion a year in little fruit and vegetable powders, like, this ain't an experiment. I mean, the company knows what they're doing, and we out in the field, our job is to kind of share this information with as many people as possible, so that they can, say, cool, tell me more. But the company is really up to something in a category with a big tailwind, and they've chosen for 50 years to distribute their goods and services through independent contractors. The world, as much as the world has changed, some things have remained the same. The more things change, the more things change, but oftentimes the more things stay the same, and history kind of gets rewritten. And the principles of good business have sort of stayed with this company, and they've been at the cutting edge of innovation. One of the other products we have, as an example, is something called a vertical aeroponic tower system, and it's a way to grow food up in towers. So this is a consumer product. We've got a production product in helping people garden and grow and eat more fresh green produce and leafy greens. But trying to be on the cutting edge of the what side, the company's tried to be at the cutting edge of the business in terms of working really kind of with herding cats all over the world, independent contractors. And so I think it's important to understand what this is and what it is not in terms of a business. Here's what it is not. It is not exactly a network marketing company. It is not exactly a franchising company. It is not exactly a direct sales company, and it is not exactly a traditional corporate entity. But what we've been able to do, and what the company's been able to do, is kind of pick the best and discard the rest from those various distribution or business models, if you will. And what they've chosen to keep from, let's say, the corporate bucket, one of the benefits of corporate America is benefits, is a health benefits package, because there's tax advantages for a corporation to offer healthcare benefits. And so I don't know, as an example, I don't know of another company that works with independent contractors that offers a full healthcare benefits package to an independent sales force. I have yet to find one, and so in that sense, we're a bit of a unicorn. So we've taken that from corporate America. What we've taken from network marketing, let's say, is a very simple business principle called revenue sharing, profit sharing. You win, I win. I help you build a customer base, and we revenue share. And that's been partnerships have been around since business was created, not a new idea. And the idea of locking arms, going shoulder to shoulder, and building an enterprise together and sharing in that reward, this idea or network marketing has an aspect of revenue sharing that creates leverage for those people who want to grow income beyond their own ability to produce it. You can go out and have a customer base of Juice Plus, and 25 customers on the fruit, vegetable, and berry, and now we have a plant omega. That's gonna give you, yes, a plant omega. That's gonna give you $500 to $1,000 a month just as a retail sort of business proposition, and $500 to $1,000 can mean a lot, can change the game for a lot of people. And quite frankly, that's what most people do that are in our sandbox playing with us. But for those that are a little more entrepreneurially minded, how do I grow this thing bigger than myself? And revenue sharing comes into play. So that's what we've taken from network marketing. In terms of franchising, aerodynamic division of labor, you do your job and I'll do my job. And the aerodynamics of a system, we have a system in place. And if you follow this and leverage off of the brain damage of those that have gone before you, here's where I had my breakthrough with the business. This is aerodynamic. And that's what business systems can bring, is a certain aerodynamic, which worked in my sport of ski racing. So that made sense to my brain. And then the final thing is direct selling. But most people, 95% of America, don't consider themselves salespeople. And I would challenge you to push the bear on that a little bit, because if you're a mom, if you're a parent, you're probably in sales. If you're a teacher, if you're a coach, if you're a business person, you're probably in sales. Because what if all sales is problem solving and helping people kind of get from here to there being higher ground, right? And so sales can give you some success in this business, but it is not going to deliver to you a 5- and 6-figure income, that's not the sales part. The sales part, is going to be maybe helping you get maybe $500 a month. So sales is important, but if one of the things we help people work through is what sales actually is in the 21st century, and it's really about serving, it's really about finding alignment, and we've got tools in the toolkit, and perhaps they can help you solve the problems that you're trying to ask, seek, and knock for. And so, in terms of what it's not, this is something where you don't have to go out and annoy all your friends to be successful. I can tell you that some of my friends are on Juice Plus, some of them are not, but I can tell you from a business standpoint, all of the people that I revenue share with in my, what I call my health food agency, I tell people, you can be a health food agent or you can own a health food agency. That's the language that I use because people understand a real estate agent and a real estate agency. But all the people that I work with on my health food agency, I didn't know before I got into this business. All of my friends prior, they've chosen, whether for whatever reason, not to do what I do, and that's cool. That's fine, and that it's just business is not for everyone. But for those that are curious and intrigued about the what, and then the how, and then the who, we get into then the kind of the why. Why bother? Why does this come? And that's kind of where my story kicks in. After I retired from professional athletics, I did what alpha guy was supposed to do, go chase money. I got my degree in finance, worked on Wall Street. Then I got on the dot-coms, and I was grinding it out. I was being a provider. I was working for the man. I was making good money. I was successful, not very fulfilled. And what I learned through that, 7, 8, 9-year process post-athletic years was a lot of mediocrity in business. I didn't really like having a manager. I understood how to lead myself. I didn't quite know how to understand how to lead others yet, but there was problems for me in grinding it out, playing the game of the corporate ladder. And I don't need to bore you with all the stories, but I was frustrated. I was dissatisfied in playing that game. And, I was introduced to this product through my parents. My wife took it on as a business, and I was supportive, but really intellectually ignorant. I had illusions of knowledge. I didn't know what I didn't know. And in the course of all that, hanging out, learning, listening, poking the bear, asking, I got my questions answered. And I realized, what's your problem, Jeff? I had to look in the mirror. I think in the end, what I finally realized is real product, real world, making real business, one person at a time, and they're crushing it. Like catch up. And so I saw an opportunity to break away from the corporate world, the corporate life, and what really got my attention was when my wife started paying the bills with her little itty bitty Juice Plus paycheck. That's one way to get a guy's attention is show me the cash flow. What this business has meant for me, and I've joined my wife, and we've been full-time for the last decade. Full healthcare benefits, and I will tell you, I'll wrap up with what this business, what it's meant to me and my family, but I want to hand it over to Ricky to have him share his business story. Or actually, we went out of order. I'm gonna have Tim go, then Ricky, you go, you follow Tim, and then I'll wrap up.
All right, you know what? I appreciate this. There's a lot of things I wanted to say that you guys have already covered. So I'm going to kind of skip to the chase here. What this business has done for me, what this network franchise has done for me. I worked in a family business 26 years. That was my plan A. I didn't have a plan B. We lost it. So I decided to become a personal trainer. Okay, if you guys are on this and you're a trainer, you're a yoga instructor, you're a PT, it doesn't matter. This business works seamlessly with what you're doing. So I decided to get into this. I knew the money wasn't going to be substantial from where I was, but I wanted to help people. I really did. But I had to get up at 3 in the morning every day to get to the gym in time to train as many people as I possibly could. And those were tough, long days and often disappointing days. And I was jealous of my clients. They're working out and I didn't have the time, and sometimes I didn't have the energy to. So even though I loved what I was doing, it was not fulfilling me. It was not providing what I really wanted to provide. And then one day somebody asked me a question. I'm going to pose this to you if you're on this call. Is what you're doing now going to give you the life that you want, that you truly want in the next 5 to 10 years or ever? Well, listen, that question hit me like a brick. And I said, no, it's not going to give me financial security. It's not going to give me time freedom. It's not going to give me the health to enjoy that time and money. So when I first heard about this opportunity of this franchise and this freedom and this company that was mission driven and it was a help people company, and of course all these these amazing benefits. I, of course, said no. Why? Because as athletes, we kind of think we know everything. I thought I knew what this business was. I thought it was a frou-frou business, and so I said no. But I learned that just sharing the info about this nutritional option is the business. And like Jeff said, it's the sales part for me is not a sales thing. It's like when someone wants to know where a good place to eat is, you're going to tell them your favorite restaurant. That's kind of this business. You know what, you've got something that you can offer people, and that's really what I see in this business. It's been fantastic. So nowadays I choose to work only 3 mornings a week, which means, guys, I have a day off every other day, and I'm getting more money now with this residual income than I was when I was working 5 days a week with a very full schedule. Now I'm looking forward to getting that full benefits package for the rest of my life. That's something I could never have as a personal trainer or as an independent trainer. But here's the thing. My wife and I now have lots of fun. We have quality time together. We do the things that we love. Guys, I have time for my wife. Is that ringing anybody's bell here? But listen, I think the biggest benefit that this business opportunity for me is it has instilled a hope for me. I'm on with 2 elite athletes here. I have a hope. I have a financial hope. I have a health hope that I've never had before. I have an opportunity that I've never had before. And I want you guys to think of this. If you don't need that hope, that's fine. But I guarantee you know somebody that needs that hope that I have now. My life is looking awesome. I could go on forever, but I'm going to just turn it over to Ricky. We're kind of running out of time.
Tim, that was awesome, bud. I appreciate it. Where do I start? I mean, this business has definitely changed Kelly and I's lives. It's been amazing. I look at, Kelly and I opened a business, service complex and fitness center 10 years ago. And my vision for this was to give back to the community, create a platform and an opportunity for young people, young families, to have success, for kids to just have free play, get back to when we were growing up and we could get on a bike and just, go, and parents said, hey, come home when the lights come out, when the lights come on, excuse me. And, those days don't exist. So I wanted to create a place where kids could come and just have free play and be as parents. It was a safe haven. And, well, unfortunately, long story short, we opened up in 2008. We couldn't open in a worse time. The market crashed and people weren't spending money and our business was struggling. And at the right time, I got offered a coaching job. And it was an amazing experience with the Carolina Panthers, the National Football League, making a lot of money, having benefits. And it was at that time when my wife started her Juice Plus business. And she came to me, hey, what do you think about, Juice Plus? I want to get into the business side. And for us, it was a natural fit. It was another way of giving back, educating people on health food, whole food, Juice Plus, fruits and vegetables, and how it could change your life. And we wanted to inform as many people as we could on how this product will change your life. And I was excited for her. I was like Jeff, ignorant, man. I had no idea what the business side. I just said, go for it, honey. I'm going to be over here coaching and, back in the NFL and in a different deal coaching instead of playing. And the experience coaching was absolutely amazing. I loved being on the field with my players, in the meeting rooms, coaching my guys up, teaching them the things that I had learned for so many years from so many amazing coaches and teammates, and wanting to pass that information on to them. But I think the biggest thing for me was it took away the time to be a coach, took away from the things that I love the most, and that's being a dad, being a husband, and being there, period, for my family. My daughter had went to Wake Forest. I didn't get to drive her there to to move her into her dorm. Next thing I know, she's graduating. My son gets a football scholarship to Carolina. I wake up one day, he's a senior. I've seen him play maybe 3 times. My youngest is going on a scholarship to East Carolina to play football. And I looked back and I said, my 40, where the heck did my 40s go? And for those 8, 9 years, it was a whirlwind. But those 8, 9 years, my wife was building a business. And she was building a business to where we could afford for me to walk away from the salary that we once needed to go back to Prolific Park, for Ricky to go back to being a better husband, a better father, and to be there for my kids, to go on vacation, to, like Tim said, to just take trips, do whatever you want to do when you want to do it, and so take our life back. And not to say I was miserable coaching. I don't want to paint this picture of doom and gloom, but it was, to have that financial independence, to be able to do what you want to do and structure your vacations, your life around your family is a gift. And Juice Plus gave us that gift. And then to have benefits that is second to none has changed our life. And now, I miss about the NFL, yes, but I'm able now. My son's at East Carolina playing in South Florida. Kelly and I are going to leave Wednesday and go down there and spend a couple of days in Florida and then go watch him play and take our time coming back. And those are the things that Juice Plus has allowed us to do. And then I look at big picture. I'm a relationship guy. This business, I think the more, as a male, when Kelly was in the business, and she's probably middle of the road, 6, 7 years in, it was, hey, can you come to a regional? I'm busy tonight. Hey, we're having conference. You come to conference? I'm not sure. The more I came, the more I learned, the more relationships grew, the more I wanted to go. And I was just thirsty for that, to learn more about Juice Plus and what it provided. Obviously, I knew from a product standpoint it was good, but when you hear these doctors and you hear these amazing stories, and then you meet people, and then you just want to share. You want to give back and share the knowledge of what this Juice Plus product does for your family health-wise, and then from your family as a business. It's truly amazing. And being a football player and then being a coach, now I'm an NMD with my wife and we work together. It aligns perfect to what I've always done, and that's being a player, being productive, building a team that we can be proud of, and we can work together to accomplish our goals and dreams. And it's been amazing, and I'm just early into it, and I love these calls now. And when Jeff, when you asked me to be a part of these things, I love it. I can't get enough of it because I want to share my story. I'm not nothing great. It's just I'm still learning, but I am very transparent, man. When people ask me, saying I'm not, I'm just going to be real. And this product is real. This business is real. The people are real, and it's an amazing business. And Kelly and I are blessed to be a part of it.
Wow. Well, thank you, Tim. Thank you, Ricky. Let me just wrap up by saying, this business changed my life. It changed my family's life. It gave my wife and I the ability to show our children, mommy and daddy, fully alive and activated and shoulder to shoulder, taking on life. And I believe that, health is one of the most important gifts we can give the next generation. I believe that, private enterprise is, kind of the cornerstone of the American dream. We've got a very unique opportunity here to own a private enterprise with not a lot of risk. And tremendous amount of upside. We've got a community and a culture I think you don't really understand until you get into it. Like Ricky said, I think my vision for, my invitation to those people is to come hang out with us, come see, come learn, I had to kind of marinate in this whole thing to really kind of understand what it was sitting right in front of my nose. This community is passionate about 3 things. We're passionate about inspiring healthy living. We're passionate passionate about, you know, giving people options and more freedom, and we're passionate about, you know, gifting this thing called ownership and enterprise to those that are interested. So with that, I want to leave it there. We invite you to come on the field of play and play a little bit with us and see if you like the game. So with that, thank you, Ricky. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, everyone, for spending your time with us tonight. And we will see you out on the field of play. God bless everyone. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Take care. Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Ricky. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.